What's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. And we've got a killer guest with us today. We're going to talk about Facebook chatbots and the next wave of real estate lead generation. Where in the world is this all going? What we can get started on right now, how to best approach it, how to think about it, and what consumers are kind of like, what they're doing and what's actually working right now when it comes to Facebook lead generation. So we've got a bunch of fun stuff to dive into. We've got a great guest with us today. We'll bring him in a second. But first, fresh off the weekend, but still very much in your box where you belong, Greg McDaniel, the junior grandmaster in the co-pilot seat. What's up today?
Me love my box. Me never come out of my box. Ever. Because then I have to see you in person.
Well, I was going to say, when we do episodes in person, we have to sit uncomfortably close together. So it is a problem.
It is. We literally, it's like shoulder to shoulder. They were like, no, I want camera. No, I want camera. I want camera. Move. But, dude, okay, so I had a great time this weekend. I had an absolute blast. Got to go out with this really cool girl, second time. She took me into the city, where she lives, in the place called the Mission. I'd never gone to the Mission. Very, like Zach, what you were talking about. It's an area that's kind of going through gentrification a little bit, and then her place is about 20 minutes south, in an area. She doesn't even go outside in it at night. I'm like, you paid a lot of money for this place, but, so we're talking, and this girl, she and I chat for like hours at a time, like literally 3 to 5 hours every single time. We look down like, holy shit, like seriously, like 3 hours, 5 hours? Oh my gosh, right? And so we're talking about like, okay, so why did you like me? Why are we going out? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I don't really like pretty boys. I kind of go for the more lumberjacks. I'm like, so you're calling me an ugly lumberjack? She's like, I didn't say it, you did. I'm like, oh my god.
Greg, I can finally use this term on the air. She's a lumbersexual.
Apparently I date lumbersexuals.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so I'm an unattractive lumberjack. Just so.
That's right.
Kept my spirits up for the rest of the weekend.
I don't even know how to respond to most of that, but okay. I'm glad you shared that. I'm glad you finally found someone that can overlook your horrible looks.
Oh my God. Okay, let's go with Zach. He's nicer than you.
All right, Zach Nussbaum, welcome.
Don't have her ask you to do any carpentry work, though.
Yeah, we'll chat with your girlfriend. You and I will drink a beer on the couch and talk lead gen. She'll be doing construction, and we'll be the lumberjacks in the group. It's cool.
Yeah, there you go.
So Zach Nussbaum, Brain Trust Interactive. Zach, officially welcome. Thank you, first of all, for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. Excited to be here.
Yeah, so if I remember right, we were introduced by a couple of really good guys, mutual connections and friends in the industry that are traveling around the country by RV with their crazy families, and which is the only reason you managed to beat them onto the show, Richard Matthews and Zach Hammer. We'll get them on at some point, but that's kind of how we connected. So you are in like the chatbot space, like you're knee deep in it. This is what you do for real estate agents and teams. So. And we'll grab some questions in a second, but how did you first kind of jump in? How did you end up being in this part of the real estate lead generation game?
On accident. Well, so
that's how everybody gets into real estate.
Yeah, so. I mean, we were doing lead gen for ourselves for many years. My business partner's property investor, so we did a lot of our own lead gen. For his property investment hustle. And then, we've been in the online space. He's been a software engineer for the last 22 years of his life. I've been marketing and copywriter for a long time. And so we really dove exclusively into real estate probably 3 years ago now, maybe a little more than that. And about a year and a half ago, my business partner reached out to me and was like, there's this new thing called Chatbots. We have to get in on the front end of this. And I basically was like, no, that's stupid. No one's going to use that shit. Like, let's not even bother. And I was right for a long time. But we learned... He's really into all types of heavy tech that he thinks is going to be awesome. And then, ultimately the users don't care about. And that's what I basically thought this was going to be again. And so it took him about 5-6 months of convincing me that this was where, lead generation and just social media marketing was going. before I finally agreed to for us to take our business in that direction. And then we did, and it failed horribly. Real estate's a weird industry for chatbots. It doesn't work as well as it does in a lot of other industries. So it really took a long time for us to figure out exactly the type of messaging that was going to get engagement, as well as figure out, how to properly utilize this for the industry. And now I think we're finally there, after a lot of split testing, a lot of different tech, a lot of integration, a lot of copywriting, and here we are today, just killing it.
Yeah, and that leads me to my my first question, which is kind of what kicked us off, or what will kick us off. But it's interesting because it's just there's a couple things there. So number one, your background with helping your buddy with his property investment thing. So where most people go to Facebook first is for buyer leads. And traditionally, that's been what's also easiest. So they can generate a lot of buyer leads in a pretty short amount of time, which now that's becoming a problem. We talked about this in the pre-interview, like the ability to generate hundreds of leads actually isn't all that valuable anymore. We can't follow up with that many anyway. I mean, Greg, how many leads do you figure you have sitting around somewhere in some system that aren't being followed up with right now?
Ooh, hundreds, if not thousands. Just languishing in the nothingness land of Middle Earth.
It's a good thing they're not real people, because you'd be a mass murderer by now, because you're terrible.
Jeffrey Dahmer's got nothing on me.
Exactly. Just letting thousands of leads die every day, Greg. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, dude. Actually, I'm working with Nick Zakas on that, like to corral that problem. So, I mean, we all need a Zach or a Nick or somebody who's going to take all those precious, beautiful little leads, like our little cherubs that we love and cherish them, and put them where they need to be in the right seats on the bus, so we actually get deals out of the money we spend to get leads. Imagine that.
Well, speaking of cherishing them, it's a lot easier to cherish them when we don't cherish them in large quantities. So Zach, you were talking before we went on the air, like like a couple hundred, like you were talking about the team of 4 that you were generating, easily 200, 250 leads a month. Like, that's too much. What do you think? Do you have any opinions on how many leads is the right amount? Let's say per agent. If you had your way and you could only feed them the amount that you thought they could actually convert, what's that number for you?
I mean, it's so hard to say, because, in the first month you might have 50 leads, and then let's say the next month you get another 50 leads. Well, now you have 100 leads, and probably only 3 or 4 of those, maybe 5 of those have, turned into a transaction. So you still, every month that goes by, you're going to continue to build up that pipeline more and more and more. So you have to have a system in place that's going to make sense. But for me, I mean, I would love it if we could get to a place where it's 20 leads, 25 leads a month that we're generating, and 50% of those are quality leads, which is, the direction we're heading, rather than having 200 leads and, 5% are quality.
It's been a big shift. I mean, just over the last, I've seen that shift just since we've been doing the show in the last 3 years. That they used to be all about how many leads you could generate, and there'd be bragging contests over, well, I'm generating, 1,000 leads. Well, that's child's play. I'm generating 2,000 leads a month. Where did you fall behind there, buddy? So it's just been funny to watch that shift take place. So we'll talk about kind of the nuts and bolts stuff that you guys are doing to increase the quality of the leads a little bit later in the show. But let's start with this. This is a good question that I caught from the Lead Gen Scripts and Objections Facebook group. This is from Josh Fletcher. It says, has anyone used Facebook Messenger to contact expireds? And if so, has it worked? So I know, Zach, you've done a little bit of tinkering with this. What can you do with Facebook with expireds?
Yeah, so, as we were kind of talking about a little bit earlier, you can't just use a chatbot and take a list of email addresses or addresses and just throw those into your chatbot and start blasting off messages the way you could, like, cold outreach to someone. So, I mean, the way we've done it in the past is taken that list that someone has of expireds, and we'll put it into a custom audience through, Facebook Ads Manager, run an ad towards them that says, something along the lines of, did your last real estate agent suck and your home's still for sale? Reach out to us, we're better, something like that. And then it'll run them through into the chatbot, where they'll then go into a qualifying type of situation where we're going to ask questions. to see, you know, why didn't this work out for you? What did your last real estate agent do? You know, a chatbot isn't really used as a traffic source. It's used as a nurturing and a qualifying, the way email used to be, the way text message and phone calling and email still are. This is just allows it to be much more engaging, and it's where people are, and they're more comfortable to respond there. So, yeah, if you get them and expired into your chatbot, you can then put them in a direction where you're going to learn a lot more about them. That way, you know, the lead management side is much easier for you. So you could handle, in theory, 200 leads, and then kind of from there pick and choose based on the answers they give in the chatbot who you actually want to treat as a hot lead versus, you know, maybe I'll follow up with them in a month or something.
So what happens? I mean, how's that filter work? I mean, so let's say, Zach, you come into my filter, and then you series of answers. They go into a series of funnels and a series of responses, I'm assuming.
Right. It's all conditionally based. So they say X, then they get response B. They say, you know, L, they'll get response M, something like that. But what we're doing now is we're actually putting in what's called NLP, natural language processing. So maybe you've heard of like Watson or Dialogflow. Watson with IBM is probably the most well known. It's a little, you know, it's a smart robot. And we are implementing that into our bots. So if, let's say someone says, you know, I just had a real estate agent, my contract's up, and I saw that you're killing it in the Bay Area. And the bot will be smart enough to respond and say, yeah, would you like me to send you over, you know, my listing presentation for you or something like that. So we're really building the intelligence of our bots up significantly so that it doesn't have to just be a conditionally based, you know, go here, go there, go here, go there type of situation. So but that's where it's at right now.
So, I mean, the evolution has obviously taken course, but it's also speeding up. I mean, it went from you saying this is stupid to going, holy crap, this is really freaking cool, to, I mean, where do you see this evolution, you know, in the next 12 to 24 months? I mean, will agents even be a necessary part of lead generation online, or is it purely going to be done with intelligent bots and everything else?
As much as I would love for agents to be taken out of the equation, it's never going to happen. At least in my opinion, it's never going to happen. You know, some of those other software companies that are out there might beg to differ, that are, you know, listing your properties online and stuff. But for me, nothing beats a human response. So the bot's only going to take you so far. It's only going to qualify these people. It's going to take 200 leads that you're generating in a month and make it easier for yourself as the agent to basically pick and choose who you want to work with. But I don't.
I would love this. I mean, I'm such a big fan of this, Zach, and the reason why is that the biggest problem, and Matt has ridiculed me on this, you know, publicly, and it's very true in private as well. You know, the fact that I suck at follow-up. I mean, it's a laborious.
Every realtor does.
Oh my God, we epically suck at it. I mean, Gail, hashtag BFF is watching. I have been spending most of my morning on epic backlog of sending out send-out cards. We're talking like 20 or 30 of them, and I suck. I was like 2 months back. I would love a bot to integrate directly in, have a stock message, something normal that shoots out, you know, a card out to the person, so I don't have to do it. And then as soon as that gets hot enough, it just drops in my lap like, here you go, good sir. Don't kick it in the shins and call the mama fat. You have yourself a deal. I mean, that would be great.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and that's what we're doing, right? I mean, so based on the number of answers questions that they answer, we're giving them a different lead score, you know, from 1 to 10, 10 being the hottest, 1 being, you know, the coldest. So we're scoring those leads, and then we're also, though, since you mentioned follow-up, after that initial lead scoring, they're getting sent into about 300 days of automated follow-up in the bot. Wow. And it's not your typical, you know, email drip system either. It's going to get them to actively engage. So, you know, great email campaign, you're going to get, you know, 20% of the people to open it. But most of the time, what they're not telling you is 20% of the people that are opening it, probably 19% of those people are opening it just so they can go ahead and delete it. So they're not actually reading your email, right? And then of the 20% that are opening that email, none are replying. You're getting way less than 1% of people replying to those emails. Whereas with Messenger, you're getting 90% open rates and about 50 to 70%, depending on the content, of people will actively engage with that.
Wow, that's amazing.
And that's going on for 300 days.
Wow. I mean, we can also get to obviously a point of overwhelmed feeling if you have this going on, and then all of a sudden the tidal wave of people going, "Hey, I'm ready to do something." Oh, booyah! I mean, how are agents starting to handle that now when they're using your system? Are they getting overwhelmed? Are they being able to handle the actual appointments and success?
I mean, it's the first 2 months of working with us is this feeling of, oh no, this was too much.
Oh shit, what did I do?
Yeah, this is out of control, which is now why we run recruitment ads for our brokers and our real estate teams to grow their real estate teams, which then they run the whole application process through a bot. So they can grow their real estate teams through the bot as well. But yeah, I mean, really, the only answer is growing their real estate team.
Shit, I need that, man.
It's a problem to have, though.
Yeah, we're using WiseHire right now for helping grow my team. I volunteer the fact that I absolutely suck at interviews to bring on agents onto my team. I'm like, so, what do you like to do? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the first time I ever had a trying to hire some salespeople onto our team, it was the most awkward, embarrassing. I had nothing prepared. And now I have a list of 50 questions that go through a chatbot. And you don't have to listen. You don't have to answer all 50 questions. But if you do answer all 50, then I know you're pretty serious. And if you answer 20, then I have a good idea of who you are, at least at that point. Yeah. And then I could take the conversation to the phone, or in person.
Yeah, it is so key. I mean, it's the level of engagement, because when you don't know what you don't know, and it could be in lead generation, it could be in real estate, it could be in anything. When you and I are doing our first interviews, it's like a bad, awkward first date. You're like, so, what's your favorite color? Do you like long walks? Like money? Okay. But then when you get your feet underneath you, and like what you guys have very successfully done, you now walk with confidence. And the way you answered that question was like, yeah, I sucked, but dude, now I crush it. And this is how I do it. And that confidence came across very, very clearly. So I know that your clients that you're working with on a consistent basis obviously experience that level of confidence when it comes to lead generation.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's insane. As this grows, I mean, do you see this going from just a chatbot online to then maybe having an automated, phone conversation, but the other person won't know that's talking to a robot?
Well, so I would love that. I just saw, Zuckerberg with his little I don't know if you guys saw that. When was that? Maybe June, where he had called and scheduled an appointment with an automated. Yeah, so I mean, who the hell knows where it could go? But even for us at this point, that was where we fell flat early on. In other industries, it's totally fine to say, this is my robot that you're going to be talking to. Totally fine to tell people that. To real estate leads, you can't. And I actually listened to one of your guys' interviews not too long ago with a guy that, he was doing some type of automation. I forget what it was, but he said he does let them know that they're talking to an automated system, which I found fascinating, because for us, the level of engagement that went up once we made it appear that they were talking to a real person was phenomenal. I mean, the numbers just went up incredibly high based on saying this is a virtual assistant, because no one wants to talk to that. They want to talk to a real person. That's why I'm not scared for the real estate industry with selling homes online, because it's such a personal experience that you have to have that type of relationship with a person. You can basically pick any real estate agent to work with, but the way you're going to pick that person is who you like and who's going to work best for you. And that's kind of what our chatbots had to evolve into, was, understanding how an actual realtor talks to their people.
But I think it's like anything else. I mean, we just have to get used to it. It has to become part of our normal life. They did a survey at Inman, last month or whenever it was, and they did a survey like, would you want a chatbot or a robot to, order food for you, set up an appointment for you, or negotiate for you? And like 70+% said no in negotiation, but 90+%, yeah, set up an appointment, do all those mundane tasks for me. Yes, 100%, but don't you dare negotiate for me. And I'm like, well, what if you could plug in like an expert negotiator, like language, and then just ninja mind slap?
I'm sitting there thinking, I know Chris Voss. Like, I want that guy. I want the AI version of Chris Voss, the hostage negotiator working for me, because he's got that. The AI is probably a better negotiator than I am.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. Like, yes, please, Chris, do your work, good sir.
Yeah.
I mean, is that the way it's going?
I mean, I think we could take the NLP in that direction 100%, the natural language processing, because all the natural language processing does is it learns based on what someone says to your bot. It reads that and then learns how to respond. So if you start sending enough, responses that have to do with negotiation or about setting up appointments and stuff like that, then the bot will be able to respond in a human-like type of response.
Yeah, because it learned, like, the more data in, the more it learns, and the faster it learns, then it essentially learns from people's responses. Like, like that was the wrong thing to say. Now I'm not going to try that. Let's try this instead. Which is really, it's fascinating just how much AI is catching up. What's cool about it, I was just reading this the other day. I finished a book called Unscaled, and the book was talking about how AI is quickly becoming, essentially it's the electricity of the 21st century. Like, there's so many things that are going to be built or evolved because of AI that we can't see, just like there's things that came about because of electricity. And they talked about how AI is going to be a lot like Amazon's AWS, where you can just rent infrastructure essentially. And it sounds like that's kind of how you guys are able to use AI. There's services out there that essentially you're piggybacking on, and you as a solo or like a small entrepreneur can rent AI, is what it sounds like.
Yeah. And that's the goal with our company, right? I mean, the goal with our company, we built Riva, what we have now, the real estate virtual assistant. We built that with the idea of it being passive income for us. A real estate agent puts it on their page and it does the work. That wasn't the case. We have to continue, because without a traffic source, without, ads or some type of engagement, it was worthless.
Yeah.
But we are getting closer and closer to that point where it's just going to do the job. It's going to be passive income for us. It's going to be easy peasy for you guys. You just have to, look at your text responses that the bot messages you and says, you've got a warm lead on the hook. It's time to give them a call. And that's,
what's really sad about that is the fact that, like, you make it stupid proof, but we'll still screw it up. It's like, here you go. Just tell this one person they're ready to go. Nah, man, I'm going to eat lunch first, and then I'm going to take a nap. Then I'm going to drink a beer with my buddy Bob from Remax, that jackass.
Last week we had a lead score of a 10, which means they're ready to buy. They're pre-qualified for $500,000 or more. They're ready to buy in the next 30 days. And you have an appointment at Friday at 4 p.m. and we got a response back from the client that said, that's when I'm having my movie date.
No.
Yep. Okay.
Slap them.
Sounds about right.
I will slap them. Matt
Good
will slap
to
them.
know.
See, I was going to say, there's some things AI can't do, which is it can't pay a guy off Craigslist to go slap someone for you. And that's what has to be done.
TaskRabbit, Matt. TaskRabbit. We'll build that in. He did not respond correctly. Hire Bob from TaskRabbit.
That's right. It's true, though. I mean, Greg, that's the funny thing, is that no matter what technology we build to, like, make it easier to follow up with leads, there's always going to be the point where the agent has to take over, and they're not going to want to. So it still comes down, at some level, it still comes down to, like, good training and good leadership on whoever's running that team or brokerage.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's what even we've taken on. I mean, I had a call with one of our teams in Indianapolis this morning, and I mean, that's basically become my job, is even the managing broker. I have to tell them, look, you're not doing this. You guys need to be doing this. You're paying me a nice amount of money to get you results, but you're not going to get results if you don't start doing this. So that's a large level of the training that we put in now too, which again, we didn't always do. But it has to be, you can sell homes, you can negotiate a home, but even, someone says something like, oh, I'm not looking to buy for 7 months. And then the realtor just gives up on that person. And so part of the coaching that we do, which our bot also does, is no, why 7 months? What's going on in 7 months? Why not start looking now? Why not get pre-qualified? And, so it's a lot of
you actually have the bot overcoming objections.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's the huge amount of the conditional of,
Well,
unless you have an actual reason.
Let's dive in a little bit, because you were showing it to us in the pre-show, and you don't have to show everybody necessarily if you don't want to, but just for a couple minutes, I want to see show people a little bit of what it's like to get somebody pre-qualified, and actually what that looks like inside of a chatbot.
Sure. Yeah. Well, do you want to see a little bit of what I showed you early on, or?
Open your kimono. Show me your goodness. Yes.
All right. So let's go.
We'll try to talk through this so the people that are listening after the fact get a sense of it. Yeah. We'll see if we can pull this off.
Let's see. We could do. You want to see the first one that we talked about, the mortgage pre-qual? So this is an ad that we were.
Buyer, right?
Yep. So we run an ad that says something along the lines of, I have an exclusive deal with my lender to really get you some of the best mortgage deals around. Click here to see if you qualify. So then they click on the ad and they get sent into the bot, and then it just says, fill out this quick survey to the best of your ability. And this is a lot of what we were talking about, of how we're really upping the quality of these leads rather than just, the standard name, email, and phone number. That's no longer going to be the case. So what they're going to do is they're going to click here to see if they qualify. And what we've done is we've built a landing page within Facebook Messenger. So they're still in Facebook Messenger, but now they have the survey for them to fill out. And so we're just going to get them some information. Are you renting a home? Are you buying do you already own? That gives you obviously a good indication if they also have a home to sell. How soon are you looking to buy? That's obviously one of the best questions you want to know. Then they click next. Ask them about their credit score to see if it's even feasible for them to get pre-qualified. Then we ask them about their down payment, and all of this can be whatever you want it to be. This is just what we've been testing, this level of questions, but we've added up to 15 questions in this form. So, you can really, and honestly, it doesn't affect the results. Once they get this far in, they're going to keep answering questions. Once you get to above 15 questions, then they kind of start to fall off, because they're like, all right, man, do you want to know the name of my firstborn kid, or but then we get to this part.
Is it part of your password?
Yeah, exactly.
In that case, yes, I do.
And then, almost done. Last is we're getting their email and their phone number in the bot. It's cool and sometimes not so cool that this pre-populates for you. But it pre-populates it based on your Facebook login. So back when people actually had Yahoo as an email address, sorry for the people that still do, you should probably get rid of it. But back when
mine is a Hotmail. I have a Hotmail account. If I auto-populated on Facebook, it would be a Hotmail account.
Yeah, so that's kind of the issue there, because that's what's happening to me. But this is my right phone number, so it's a catch-22 at times, the auto-population. And then, we have here where your info is secure and all that stuff, just to make them feel a little bit better. And then they hit submit, and then all that info gets sent directly to the real estate agent's CRM. They get a little thank you response here. As soon as they fill it out, we'll be calling you in a few minutes to discuss your options. In addition, they are then going to get put into that 300 days of buyer follow-up drip in here as well. So that's like one of the first ones that's pretty neat that we're doing. Here's this home valuation. No need to run through it since we just did it. But let's say, the home valuation can go many different ways. My favorite way on running an ad for home valuation is kind of talking to a seller and telling them that the biggest mistake most sellers make is thinking their home is worth something that it's not. So then, you're either A, not going to sell your home, or B, you're going to be really upset when that agent comes and gives you a CMA and you realize your home is worth half of what you thought it was. So why not find out now? If you're even considering selling your home, find out now what it's worth. So then they get in here. They, just enter your address. This is my home in Colorado. I don't live in Colorado anymore, so if you want to come and accost the renters here, feel free. Yeah, every example I used this address in Colorado, not mine in Savannah now. Then the user,
those poor renters, they're getting all your fan mail, dude.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they got a credit card of mine in the mail not long ago. But then, so they enter their address in, and then we want to confirm. We're always confirming that this is like the right information. Number one, it's just good to do that, but then also Facebook really appreciates you doing that. But so because we like to confirm, we decided to take it a step further. And what we're doing is we're pulling an image of their home from Google Street Image, so that you can actually see your own home. It's a cool touch. It makes you look like the cool real estate agent on the block. And then they just confirm it. Yep, that's it. And then what we're doing is we're pulling right away, as soon as they confirm that that is the address, we pull up that evaluation. They get to see the low end right here, the median value and the high value. And as I was telling you guys, we do that to kind of protect you. You don't want to tell them their home's worth $400K, and then you go and you realize, they have a leaky roof and everything's a mess inside, and the home's actually worth way less than that. So what we're doing is we're hoping by giving them a low, median, and a high that we can get somewhere in between that $40,000 range once you go and give them an official estimate. But then we also here, really hammer home the fact that this is just an estimate. And what's nice about doing that is it lets them know it's just an estimate, but then it also gets them to take an additional step with you. So I'd love to come to your home and give you an exact value and, do a CMA of your house. So you can either schedule a call here, do a full report. And this is actually where you can see where they're finally going to realize that they're not actually talking to a person. So let's say they want to schedule a call, because that's what we really want, right? We don't want name, email, and phone numbers. We don't want 300 leads. We want scheduled appointments in our calendar. And so what we're doing here, if they take the action to schedule a call, then, today, tomorrow, and then any day after tomorrow, we're going to put the date in there just to help them out a little bit further. And that's when they finally realize that it's a bot, because, we're giving them buttons to click on. Mm-hmm. And they get to pick a time.
And the bot's chatting back with you now.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to show you, so you could see how, kind of smooth the process is. And then this will tentatively book that they have that call scheduled at that time.
That's really slick.
And you even, you put in the little typing stuff, so they could, make sure that someone's responding. Again, auto-populating their contact info. We're going to confirm it for them again. Just something to keep Facebook off our asses here. And then just like that, you now have a nice, fresh appointment in either your Google Calendar, your whatever calendar it is that you use, and it gets sent directly into your calendar.
That is awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, so let's see, maybe you want to see maybe one more? Actually, no, I don't know how I would do it right now. So that's all you're getting for now.
Well, that was good, because you got buyer and seller leads, which is awesome.
Yeah, so. And then you can see, here's everything that we do. They could say they want to sell their home, they want to get a free home valuation. Property search is kind of cool. Let's go through that really quickly, because this then integrates with your IDX. We were talking about this, so now it's going to be it's in the form of this right now, but on this where it's just a real smooth and easy drop down type of situation. But for right now, in this demo, it's our old version. So what state are you interested in? Let's say Florida. Ooh. I'll do that. Miami. With the max, man, I struggle with always hitting stuff at the bottom there.
Oh, yeah.
So then the price range that they're looking to buy in. But what we realized is, this is what all of our testing really helped us do, is people don't really want to take the time. It still, feels like a fairly quick process, but ultimately people want to go through a survey and just drop down, click, 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 click. They don't want to wait for this type of human interaction. So even this didn't work as well as we wanted it to, which is why we now have it in that survey type format.
That's interesting. Yeah.
But I want to show you this.
So the natural language stuff ended up working worse than a form, because the form is just like, as long as it's drop downs and clicks, they can get it through it. And
well, no, not exact. I mean, the form works great. This isn't natural language processing. This is though. So
no,
like
but it's questions. It's if you were sitting down with a human being, they would ask you, oh, how many bedrooms, and they would write something down. Okay, how many baths, and they would write something down. Yeah, like that's if you were sitting across like an appointment with an agent, that's the process they would follow. But you're right, it's slow.
It's a little bit slower.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is really neat, which we still do throughout the bot, throughout the 300-day follow-up, throughout all of our different types of follow-up. Based on their response of what's your time frame, this is going to trigger different types of follow-ups. So if they're, saying they're ready to buy right now, we're going to put them through. Basically, they're going to get 15 messages in Facebook Messenger in the first week. So 2 a day. Because if someone's ready to buy right now and a week goes by and you haven't gotten on the phone with them or you don't have that contract in hand, they've moved on. So we're pushing real hard there. But then, 90 days, and we've added on. This is a little outdated version, but it continues to just go further and further down the line so that we can go up to 300 days of follow-up. So then again, we just confirm it. Here we have it connected to Realtor.com, but with all of our clients, we connect it directly to their IDX. So we're grabbing the phone number again. And then we build that list of properties. And then they can view the properties. And they view the properties outside of the bot. But it is, and like I said, it is Realtor.com for here. But as you can see, Miami, Florida, 3 beds. At least 2 baths between $400,000 and $500,000, and there's all the homes that are for sale. And then within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, the bot's going to follow up with them and say, hey, were there any properties that you were interested in? Any caught your eye? Do you want to arrange a time to go see them? So that is, that is the bare bones of the bot.
Partially, I think the answer is one of the questions. So one of the guys who's watching with us, Paul Franklin, who's actually on our team, says, "Is this native to Facebook or using a third-party platform?" To the viewer's eye, to them on the receiving end, the only part of that wasn't native to Facebook Messenger was just that last little bit where they completed their search and got sent out to your site essentially for your IDX feed. Everything else to the consumer, like they can't tell what it is. As far
your
as their
branding is on it. They think it's you. Yeah, they think it's you. It'll be the Zach Nussbaum real estate team talking back and forth with you. Yeah,
that's crazy. So we mentioned integrations. So you gave us one, which is the integration with the IDX website. You guys are also using integrations with Google Maps and then integrations with the agent's CRM, right? And then you're talking about, then there's other integrations coming with AI for the natural language processing. Any other fun integration stuff that we should either that you're working on or we should be aware of?
Yeah, so we integrate with Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com to pull the home valuations. So we know everyone hates Zillow, Zestimates.
You have it phrased really well.
Yeah. And not only that though, but we wanted to take that hatred of the Zestimate and kind of figure out a way to make it less hateful. So we take Trulia, Realtor.com, and Zillow and combine all of their valuations to put it together.
Gotcha.
So we're kind of, we're doing the best that we can to give that person a valuation. We wanted to make sure that we could give an instant valuation right away, though.
Yeah, Greg, how do you feel about that? About the, do you want, with it being an aggregate of all 3 of those, it's definitely safer for you. It's pretty rare that you'll have some massive outlier and you'll show up and they think their property is worth $100,000 more than, because the Zestimate or something like that told them that. So you show up and get ambushed at the listing appointment. I would think it'd make your job as a listing agent easier.
We've done that for a long time. And that's something that Terry came up with years ago. He would go to Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, right. We would have all those on our pre-listing appointment. Then we just handwrite those numbers in. Be like, this is what the sites are telling us. Which one do you think is most accurate? And allow them to kind of engage with us. And then once we get an idea of where their heads at, are they in the clouds and total Looney Tune status, or are they realistic and they're ready to get talk turkey and make this thing happen, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's something. T. Diddy's been ahead of his game 90% of his life when it comes to technology and how to use this stuff. But it is profoundly effective because it's no longer you come in and say, Matt, Julie, your 3 wood denting little insulin control babies. This is the value of your home, and you're like, to hell it is. This is the value of my home. Trezilio said it so. And you're like, well, no, don't confuse your internet search with my real estate degree or real estate license. And Terry does have an MBA in real estate residential finance, so he actually does have a degree in running the numbers. But I mean, it is very valuable. And what it does, it takes the pressure off of a newer agent or an agent maybe that's getting into a different marketplace or maybe transition from a buyer to a listing agent because maybe they don't know how to do all this stuff. Maybe they aren't really good at CMAs, but they can come in and they all have a nice, safe, neutral zone to talk with the seller and say, okay, these are what we're seeing. What's your value? What do you think? And now you can go back and run your numbers and have a good idea where it could or should land based upon what everyone else is seeing. Now, is it going to be right all the time? No, of course not. Yeah. But it's a great soft place to be for agents.
So Zach, let me ask you this, because with your background on the investment side, would you, to generate seller leads where you had an agent that, let's say they could make an investment offer and they could list the home, because I've got a client like this, like he's got a brokerage and he's an investor. So all of his agents are equipped to go into a listing presentation and list it or, make an offer. Would you run the ads any differently, or is this the same stuff that works on the property investment side?
No. The property investment side is really, it's a little dark, honestly, but it's all custom audiences based on foreclosure lists, obituary lists, and then delinquent property taxes, stuff like that. So you're really the ad copy is completely different. The questionnaire is very similar, but the ad copy that you're doing is, are you in a tough time and you need to get rid of this house? You need to get some cash right now. We'll give you a cash offer within, 3 days, something like that. So, it's really distressed homes more so than even property investment, I would say.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Okay. Let's see. We talked about Paul's question. Okay. So,
I did have one more integration to show you if you wanted to see it really quickly.
Yeah, what's that?
Which is kind of neat. So, you see my screen now?
Mm-hmm.
So, another issue with online leads, right, is fake information, yeah? So, we'll send to your CRM, we'll integrate with your CRM, but we're always going to put you to a Google Sheet. And the reason for that is we're running you through a phone validation. So it's going to let you know if it's a valid phone number or not. It's also going to let you know if it's a mobile or a landline, so you can know whether or not to text that person. It's also going to validate the email address and score that email address, to let you know if it's going to bounce or if you're going to end up in their spam. And then it sends them, the day they became a lead, what their answer was, how soon are they looking to buy, do they rent or own, what their credit score, the purchase amount, their down payment. But what's really awesome with for sellers, for example, so it does all of that other stuff, but what it also does, which is huge for our clients, is without them ever having to look up the home, it's going to let them know, it's a single family home, how many beds it has, how many baths it has, the total number of rooms, the year it was built, the finished square footage, and the lot size. So they get all of that information. And what I did here was, while we were just chatting a second ago, I got an email that, as if I'm the agent, so it says, looks like you just got a new mortgage lead here. Here's their information, but then you can also go view it in this Google Sheet. So, and we also text it to them. So they'll get it to their Google Sheet, they'll get an email, they'll get a text, and all they have to do is click on that link. So you can be, out showing a house, doing an open house, and you'll have all of that information ready for you to go without having to do any research yourself.
How much money do I need to go steal from Bank of America to pay you?
Well, it depends what you want. If you want just the bot, you offer just the bot.
Christ almighty. It's like stupid proof. It's literally stupid proof.
It is stupid proof.
Matt, you could even do this.
Yeah, it has to be. All right, so speaking of paying you money, Zach, so where can people go to learn more about what you guys do and connect with you?
That's really where we've fallen flat in our business.
Like every agency, you're really good at marketing for clients and terrible at marketing for yourself.
We just don't do it. We are referral based primarily.
Yeah.
You know, we get on shows like yours and we just flex our nuts and that's it.
Flex our nuts. I've never heard that one. That is a new one. All right.
Yeah, hope that was appropriate.
Of course it is. It's Real Estate Uncensored, man.
But yeah, I mean, braintrustinteractive.com, but that's nothing to get excited about.
Yeah.
You can go to Riva, the real estate virtual assistant page on Facebook.
Okay.
If you want to demo the bot, demo the bot for yourself, go to Riva, your real estate lead generation demo, and you can send a message to that Facebook page, and you can play with the bot. Which is fun. And then you can also, reach out to us at any point within Messenger.
There's a question for you here. I just kind of thought about our friend Veronica Jones, who's an ISA down in Texarkana, Texas, just because I like saying that name. So it could be not just for a team. This could be a massive scale move for a team or a brokerage so their ISA doesn't have to be pounding the pavements, finding these leads anymore. The ISA can literally just be filtering and then distributing the leads to the different appropriate agents on a much grander scale because they don't have to do all the legwork anymore. So this wouldn't eliminate an ISA. This would actually be a complement to the ISA world.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we basically recommend that you have an ISA that's managing this. And then, I mean, we're almost at the point where we won't work with a single realtor. If you're not part of a team, you can't do it. You're not going to be able to properly handle what we're going to give you.
So everybody has to partner up, team up, get onto a team, do something, unless they're just, a G.I. Joe and they can do anything.
Yeah.
I totally watched G.I. Joes this weekend, so that's why I said that.
Of course.
and Veronica's finally a show where you're not trying to eliminate my job.
But Zach, I think Zach's right. I think it's going to be, I don't know that the ISA role will go away anytime soon because this is going to give us an ability to have somebody like on standby, like ready to pounce, like ready to jump in, or they're scheduling calls, but they're scheduling calls with the ISA. The ISA is the one that calls them, and then they have the quote agent, which could be the team leader, or it might evolve into something where you have an ISA team, and then you have a listing team, and someone from the listing team goes out, and it's never, it becomes less about the agent and the agent doing everything, and it becomes more about people having specific roles on teams, which that's kind of more of where I see the money going. I don't know that that's where everybody will go, but I think that's where the profit is. Let's put it that way. So anyway.
Yeah, and I mean it's invaluable if you have an ISA that's managing the inbox because I mean it's until the bot gets even smarter, which we're a month or two out from it being, but I mean it's invaluable to have someone overlooking the inbox, and if there's a time that a real person wants to jump in and tell the bot to shut up, we highly recommend that, take over that conversation and start handling it. And, the bot to person integration, it's seamless. They just jump in, send the message from the same Facebook page, and then the ISA can then handle the rest of the conversation, move it to a phone call, move it to an in-person
so like
setting.
the ISA role may be, so Veronica, if you're watching this, still picture this, you sitting in front of a 9-screen bank with nothing but Facebook chat message strings going on around you, and you're just trying to who do I jump in on? That one, I'm going to pounce on that one. Yeah, that's going to be the ISA job 3 years from now or 2 years from now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And then we only have 2 or 3 short years for me and Greg to actually be on the show in person because at some point Watson will come up with a Greg and Matt, and it'll be an avatar version of ourselves anyway. We're going to be at the beach, and Greg and Matt, the AI version, will do the show for us, and it's going to be awesome. And I'll have to, and I'll tinker behind the scenes and get the profanity level of Greg's AI just dialed down, just a hair, not much, just a hair,
I've been good the last 2 weeks. I've been good the last 2 weeks. I'm down on myself back here, but yeah, that would be fun. Our AI versions will be running this thing professionally. You will be drinking coffee. I will be drinking beer. Sitting on the beach getting sunburned. Planning to take over the world naturally.
Exactly. Exactly.
What are we going to do
right.
today,
And then the show
Pinky?
will, in fact, be 5 days a week. Until then, though. Not until. All right, Greg, how do people reach out and connect with you?
Guys, if you're watching this, it's right on your screen. Go to bookmcdaniel.com. Let's talk about EXP, see how it's growing. The reason why I talk about EXP so much, guys, is because I believe in it. I believe not just in making an income, I believe in building wealth. I've been doing this game at this recording for almost 19 years in real estate. If I had learned about EXP, 10, 15 years ago, when they kind of came out, about more like 10 years ago in 2009, I would have jumped on it like a fat kid on a cupcake because, let's put it this way. I'd have a much bigger house if I was on board because, the income streams there are multiple. And if you guys are tired of just working like a dog for your next contract, let's talk about EXP. Let's talk about college. Let's talk about college. Yeah, Matt, we should talk about college since you and I, neither one of us went.
Exactly.
Let's talk about, education and how we can help you guys get to where you want to be. So go to bookmcdaniel.com, do it now or be square. Matt.
That's right.
I don't know if it means anything, but I'm a huge advocate for EXP.
Dude.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Love what EXP is doing.
You should go to Book McDaniel and talk about joining our team.
All right. Well, I had no idea, Zach. That's pretty cool, though. Okay. So, guys, we'll finish out with this. Go to rockstarlivevideo.com. If you enjoy what we're doing on Facebook Live and you want to start doing this for your business, you want to start doing it to reach clients, nurture leads, whatever the case is, that is our free training on how to jump in and get started with Facebook Live. Where do you find content? What do you talk about? How long should your videos be? What the hell do you do when you're on video? How do you engage with people? All that stuff, it's all covered. It's a 4-module video series. It's all 100% free. Go to rockstarlivevideo.com and then make sure to subscribe to the show, whether it's iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, YouTube. You can grab the video versions there, or you can go to reuncensored.com and get links out to anywhere that you want to and catch up with back episodes. With that being said,
And binge.
It's always a good thing. That's right. All right. Shall we put a bow upon this episode there, Greg?
Yes. Matthew, shall we? Pick a color, my friend.
All right. Let's go with, let's see. Chartreuse was the last one. I'm feeling magenta. Let's go with the magenta bow today.
Very, very manly of you. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're putting a magenta bow on this thing. Zach, you're a legend, brother. We want to get you back as soon as your bots kind of evolve a little bit more, hear more about what you guys are doing, hopefully help you market yourself. And swing your balls or bust your balls or whatever you're going to do to your
flex
balls.
The nuts.
Flex your nuts.
Flex
You're
the
nut
nuts.
flexing. And help you guys get some more clients and help agents become the non-slacker that they should be, but they are right now, but using your bots. So thank you, my friend. You're awesome. Guys, Matt and I love you. We want to see you guys keep thriving and instead of just surviving. That's why we bring legends like this man here onto this show to open up your eyes and your brains to new possibilities. So spread it. Let everyone know about the show. We love you to pieces. We're coming back on the next show, guys. Until then, peace out, ninjas. We are gone.